Hey, what's up to the point listeners? It's your boy, Chris. I've got a friend of mine on here today, and she's got purple hair. And if you've ever been to a trade show and seen someone walk around with purple everywhere, maybe purple sequins, purple backwards hats, her husband hanging out, it's Jen McKee. That's who she has coined the purple, the color purple in the trades. You can't miss her. And I'll bet you if you're thinking, somebody asks you, one of the listeners, say, hey, who do you know that does social media in the home services space? I can just about bet you that the answer is probably going to be Jen McKee. You've created a name for yourself. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, founder of Kee Hart Marketing.
Yes.
And you know what? I've known you for a little bit now, and I've kind of watched the business grow. And I talked to you early on in the business, and I kind of seen you doing your thing. And now, we just came off of a Rhino X. Now you're putting on your first event, the Growth Conference. It's at the end of this month, March 31st through the
March 30th to April 1st.
March 30th to April 1st, down in San Antonio, which I think is where you live, right? Don't you live down there?
It is. Yeah, I figured bring it close to home.
Listen, I do Rhino X in Phoenix.
Yeah,
because I live here. It's already complicated enough. Like, let's not overcomplicate it by putting it in a different location.
Right.
So, hey, I know it's really close to the event, but I'm assuming that you guys still have tickets and stuff like that. Maybe let our listeners know if you do. I'm assuming you do. If they can grab it real quick before everybody waits to the last minute to purchase tickets. I know how this stuff goes. So
yeah,
maybe just let the listeners know where they can get tickets.
Yeah, we still have tickets to the growth-experience.com. So it should be pretty incredible. We have some great speakers, including Prolific is going to be there.
That's right.
Zach Carstide is one of our speakers. So
you have a bunch of great speakers on there. Obviously, I know like 90% of everybody there. Actually, I might know everybody now that I think about it. But kudos to you for putting on something great and leveraging your own talent. Hopefully, you're going to be doing some social media specific stuff while you're there. But yeah, I'm always interested in this. I think this is I've tried to tackle this. I think I told you this, Jim, when you and I first started talking. I tried at Rhino. Obviously, I'm not there any longer, but I tried when I was at Rhino to build out a social media marketing team to serve the contractors. And I just never felt like it did what I wanted it to do. And maybe it's because I'm a poor leader of it. I don't know. Maybe this is all my fault. But I didn't know. I guess I was never a fan of cookie cutter graphics and the same heat pumps and all this other bullshit that nobody cares about. I really was and then what mattered to me more was prove it to me. Can you prove it to me on that we just did this and it delivered X amount of customers or X amount of leads to our customers? Can you prove that to me, please? And I just never felt like we never got to that point. And I went through 3 leaders in that world. Yeah. And this is the external team. Doing it internal is easy. Doing the internal stuff is fun because
your own stuff. Yeah,
because I have somebody in here doing it. For the podcast, we have our own people do. We are the town. There's no cookie cutter or anything. There's no pictures. There's no whatever. It's no. It's just we're using all this stuff. But it's a human being who's actually inside the 4 walls doing it. Yeah, and I think this is where it can get complicated because if one of these contractors does not have that human being who wants to do it or can do it. Well, then what? And then and then should they still do something? There's just so many questions I have around it, and I could never do it. It would have been a lot easier if I could just would have bought you and rolled you into the business, but it would have been better for me, not you.
Yeah, and then you would have left. So then where would I be?
That's what I'm saying. Actually, I'm so glad that it didn't pan out. So
right.
But the reason is like I said, I believe in it. And Chad and I have our roofing business, Redbird Roofing, and we started leveraging social media, and we got our, the technicians or the sales guys and all of stuff involved and stuff. But it works because we want people to see who we are behind the scenes. Nobody cares about, nobody wants to have to hire a roofer, right? They don't want to. Right. So let's have fun with it. But I want to walk through some of these things with you. So that way those listening are okay, whether I use, Jen or not, just give me some, some tips. And then you're going to find out, okay, this is complicated. I should probably just use Jen and call it a day.
Yeah.
That's just, but you're probably going to be able to go through a lot of this stuff, at that growth experience because, it's a couple of days of you being able to pour into them, maybe a little bit more tactical than we can get on this episode, but I'm going to do my best to try and dig in as much as I can. Okay. You ready?
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
So let's do this first, right out the gate. I don't want to assume that everybody just knows who you are. Because if they're not big on social media, then they might not know who you are. Might not know who you are. So maybe just give the listeners like a quick little high level background of why you're even, the one to talk about social media marketing. Just share a little bit of your background, Jen.
Okay. So thanks for having me again. I'm Jen. I own Kee Hart Marketing. Kee Hart Marketing specializes in social media for home service companies. I got lucky and was introduced to a plumber in 2021, and we were we like to think we were one of the first residential home service companies using TikTok for a business, in a business standpoint. So we were creating content for the homeowner on TikTok, and people started to see what we were doing, and she was able to refer me to people, and that's kind of like how I got into it. But early on in my social media career, I just realized that social media was super necessary for business owners, but not easy to execute on a consistent basis, just because of what it required. Like, you have to do it every day, every week, every month. And as a business owner, you get caught up in all the other things. And so even if you get super motivated for like a week or a month, it always ends up falling off. So I recognized really early that it was something that business owners needed. And then, like I said, I just kind of got lucky falling into this industry.
Well, hang on. You gave me the elevator pitch. That's not what I'm looking for. Actually, what I want is what you did before that. Like, did you, or was it nothing related whatsoever? You just jumped into the social media game and started figuring it out? Like,
yeah. Well, I worked in restaurants for 17 years, and I was a restaurant manager at a corporate chain for 5 years. So that helped a lot with like building a business and culture type stuff. I also am just like naturally a documenter. So I was like in journalism in high school and stuff, but I'm always somebody who was taking pictures of things. Like, I'm like the person in the group that's like, hey, we should take a picture right now. Or like at family Christmas, like I bought my whole family tripods because I'm like, you got to put the camera somewhere. So I don't want to bring it around if I forget it or something. So I just naturally am like a journalist at heart. And I think it just lent itself to social.
Got it. Okay. So real quick, you mentioned TikTok out the gate. So right now, there's probably some people on here like, I don't even get on TikTok. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. Like, I'm barely on TikTok. But it's because I just am not, like, if I hop on there, my brain goes, what? I could be doing something better right now than being on TikTok. So I've trained my brain. Hey, have you ever read a book called Atomic Habits?
Yes.
So I read that book recently because I'm in an accountability group with Tommy Mello, Aaron Gaynor, and a few of our buddies. And one of the things was we wanted to read Atomic Habits and then go through it. And that's a great book for somebody who needs to run social media, because you got to create some habits to be able to continuously record content on nonstop. Like, it's a great book. But you mentioned TikTok. Now maybe let's talk about just the mate, like, I think you call them the big three on the different platforms, because there's so many different social media platforms. And if these guys listen to Gary Vee, he'll talk about all kinds of different platforms. But like in the home services space, in the contractor world, to you, the big three is what?
Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
And are you recording different types of content for each of the platforms, or is it kind of like the one piece of content and you rolled out the same thing?
Okay. So it depends on what capacity you have. So for what we do, we are using the same content across the platforms because there's different people on every platform. We reach different people every time they open up the app. And if we're going to create a video, we might as well put it everywhere where videos are accepted to get in front of the most people. So our strategy is really TikTok and Instagram forward, but it works on the different platforms. If you are starting to build out your social media team internally and you have more resources where you can really differentiate, all of the platforms are a little bit different with a little bit different audience and a little bit different culture. So you can definitely, depending on the resources that you have, start to kind of like make a different strategy for each platform. But I would say most
don't. So like maybe because I bet you the majority of people on here aren't in that situation, right? So
right.
So how do we do it? Like, because I think that half of the battle is, well, what do I do?
Right.
How am I going to do it? And then what am I, like, what's the outcome? Like, what am I supposed to be like? What's the freaking, am I even doing the right thing? So let's just think about this, because I think the majority of listeners right now are going to be in a position where they need a, DFY.
They're not building like a 10-person team.
I think so.
Yeah. So the first thing to do is just start posting. And if you were to just start documenting your life, so like getting in the habit of taking a picture or video of whatever it is that you're doing that day and sharing that is literally step one. Like it is not edited. It's not overthought. There isn't like a ton of, it doesn't need to be perfect. And it's just, the goal is for people to know what you do and know who you are. And if you just start to document your life in little ways like that, it's a great place to start. So we have a strategy, but like, I don't like, if you're not doing anything, that's the first thing that you do.
I'm going to do it right now. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it. And then you post that.
So I just took a picture on my phone of me interviewing Jen, and I'm just going to make a post with it, right? Something simple. This is what I'm doing right now. So just take a picture. It's as simple as that, right?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't overthink it.
That's it. And so depending on where you are in the business, like if you're still out in the field in the truck, that's really easy, right? Because you can take a selfie or whatever at a job. If you're in the office, behind the scenes, at trainings that you're doing, at meetings that you're doing, at whatever it is that you're doing that day, starts to tell the story of who you are.
What do the septic guys do?
Honestly, gross stuff works really well on social. So
yeah, that's
tell the story of like what you found. I mean, why it was there, what they should not have done. There's so many things.
That's what the drain cleaning ads always have, like the big hair balls and shit like that. Like, or it's something that's disgusting that they're pulling out of it, but you're just waiting to see what comes out of the drain. It's like,
or like rats, trees. There's so much in there. The gross stuff
trees?
Is good. Tree roots like coming through.
Yeah. Oh, got it.
The inside of it.
Yeah, got it. That break the sewer lines. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Love those jobs. Those are great jobs, by the way. Okay, so you didn't mention YouTube. I got to know why, because I felt like the Reels do really good.
So what's really interesting right now on Google is Google's indexing videos in two different places. There's like a video feed and a short form video feed. I'm not seeing very much from YouTube there at all. It's a lot from Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, which really surprises me. And even off of websites, like pulling directly from your website. But I'm not seeing a lot of YouTube. And so while 6 months ago, I was like, yeah, YouTube. And we still post on YouTube because then it's part of Google. So we're still posting on YouTube. We're posting shorts. But it does interest me that while Google is indexing these videos, it's not necessarily pulling from YouTube shorts.
Got it. But are you still kind of we just talked about the big three, but that doesn't mean there's obviously more than three. So there's other things that you can do. And I felt like we tried on the podcast to do long form and a lot of short form stuff, and the short form stuff was always was always best for us. But I get it, because like to me that makes sense. Like I think about myself as the consumer who has ADHD, right? Who's not, I might have a very short attention span, so I have to stay interested, which is why it has been difficult for me over the years to read a book, because my brain wanders. So, but when I think about short form video, it's like you almost have like a half a second to keep them engaged to get you to the next second, to get you to the next second. It almost kind of feels like you got to keep them engaged to get to what? There's got to be an endpoint. So that's one thing I want to talk about on here too, is the boring part. It's the boring part to talk about for, I think, a lot of people, but it's probably the most important part. And that's like the actual metrics behind this thing. Because I think that's what allows you to know what should you continue to do, which one's getting the best engagement, things like that. So do you have a set group of metrics or KPIs? You're like, hey, this is how we gauge success with the campaign.
Okay. I feel like you just touched on a whole bunch of different things. And then your question was even like a different thing to talk about. But
let me put it this way. What are the main metrics or KPIs that matter the most to you?
Okay. So if we're using social media as a place to gain visibility, so we're working to get in front of more people so that more people know who we are, which is what a lot of organic social is for. So obviously we want that to eventually lead to making more money, but it has to start with people even knowing that you exist. One of the most important things is that your content's actually showing up in the newsfeed or on the feed. So what happens is that if you're just posting a bunch of graphics and stock photos or whatever, like no one's actually seeing it. And that's why you never have any engagement. So if no one's seeing it, it's just a waste of everybody's time and energy. So our number one goal is reach and engagement. Like the more engagement that a piece of content has, the more reach that we can get out of it. So that's like what we're always looking for is our content getting into the newsfeed? So we use a strategy that it's the 3S framework, but it's our social media strategy. And 50% of our content should be content that is meant to get engagement. So that's our show up content. That's content that should be getting us into the newsfeed. So like not every piece of content is going to hit. You're going to put stuff out there that people don't see, and that's okay. But we want about 50% of our content to be engaging and showing up for people.
Do you lean into humor that much on anything that you do, or give that kind of guidance?
There are some people who are open to it and some people who aren't. And so it's really like if it works for the company that we're working with, yes. Memes used to do really well, and they're a little bit harder to work out. Like we kind of took them out of our strategy a lot, unless it's a really good one. Video memes work a little bit better. And then if you can have fun, and TikTok trends really lend itself to having fun. If you can add that into your content, that's a really big like culture, shows your culture, gets into the newsfeed, reaches new people, can be really relatable. There's a lot that can come out of that. So if you're willing to kind of like push the boundary and be a little bit relaxed in who you are as a business, that helps a lot.
Okay, so a couple things. You had said organic. So for our listeners, you can do a paid version of social as well. What's kind of like your pay-per-click campaigns, but you can do a paid version on social as well. And she's talking about organic, which is just your normal posts. You're not paying anything for that, but you still like that's got the best cost per lead if you care about that metric, because it's organic posts.
Yeah.
But two things. I would ask you, if I was your customer, I would say, will you tell me what's best? And then I would make sure that that's what we're doing. So versus saying, oh, this is what I want to do, I would say, what am I supposed to do? So that's why I'm asking you that question. I tend to lean into humor for everything because I think it's funny. And people like to laugh. And so the two things that Gary Vee told me in my time with him, I think I told you I had a partnership with him for like 19 to 21.
Yeah.
He said, if you can, the two pillars are education or entertainment. And if you could do both, if you could do both combined, it's like the perfect storm. And I always thought about that, because I thought about that from when I'm on stage speaking, or if I'm doing a podcast, or if I'm doing content. I'm always like, is this educational? Is it entertaining? And not that it had to be both every single time, but I always just thought about how do I make this thing like really, really fun, like entertaining to watch if nobody gave a shit about what I do? Like, would they continue to watch this thing?
Right. That's what show content is, because nobody does care what you do. Like until they need you, they don't care. And so how can you create content that people do care about? Something that fits in with the newsfeed. And you're totally right. Like, yes, like what should you do versus what do I want to do? But not everybody sees that. The other thing I'll say is when it comes to being funny, you have to make sure that the audience that you're trying to reach would find it funny, because sometimes what you would find funny is not necessarily what the moms in your city would find funny. And so then, if you're creating content that they would not find funny at all, then you're not really reaching your target audience with your content, which could eventually cause somewhat of an issue.
This is interesting, because I feel like debating you right now on this. Because
listen, I know it's great. I'm just saying, like from a like, yes, then you could reach other people, but in like having a lot of visibility versus a little bit of visibility can be super beneficial, and it can get you other opportunities. I get all of that. I'm just saying it's also important to try to create content that your customer would appreciate.
Sure. Who is to say what they appreciate, right? Listen, the human behavior is the human behavior, right? So you can't say, oh, it would work in this market, but not in this market. Maybe if you're in the South or you're in the Bible Belt or something like that, you don't put out some content that might go too far. I know early in my speaking career, I've always been the same type of speaker. Doesn't land as well in the Bible Belt, so I had to modify how I would speak to not offend anyone. So, but I think with like overall content, just in general, I always get nervous about people overthinking it, right? Like, oh, I don't want to upset this,
For
this demographic. Oh, I don't want to upset that. So then they just do nothing. And I'm afraid that people
Yeah.
listening are going to feel like, oh God, now I don't know. Like, should I do nothing? So when I would say, you just tell me if you're the professional, you tell me what to do, or tell me what's best, because I think that, in my opinion, the outcome of all of this is to get attention. That's what we're trying to do, get attention, but to get customers. Like that is the game that we're trying to accomplish here, is how do we get someone's attention to get customers? And that's where my head's always been with it, whether it's organic or paid, either one. Paid's like the cheater way of getting it and is even the right type of customer. I say, I don't even know. Do you even do paid media? I have no clue if you do paid social.
Yeah, we do. We do paid social.
So then, are you measuring metrics differently, paid versus organic?
Yeah, our paid team is different than our organic team. All of them, just because it's such a different type of content and the goals are much different. But what we're looking at the highest level is cost per lead, and then from there, booking rate, even though we don't have control over booking rate because it's not something that we do internally, but we do educate our clients on how to increase that booking rate, because it's just a different game. It's not like a Google lead. Like, no one's searching for this solution. You're putting an offer in front of people while they're zoning out on social media.
Yeah, it's creative marketing, not like direct, because we're trying to create interest when there's no intent. And that's where the education and entertainment comes in. I agree. Listen, like forever, the whole time at Rhino, it was always about cost per lead. I needed to make sure I knew what the cost per lead was for like a real legit opportunity, but I always tracked the booking rate. Always, because there's accountability on both of our ends. So like to you, the listener, it's not like Jen or you just create all these videos and stuff and put it out there and like, okay, cool, it works. No, you have some like lifting on your end you have to do too. And that might just be something as simple as answering your phone or responding faster, or replying faster, which is probably where I'm guessing you see a lot of the pain points is in the response times or lack of response.
That's a big one. Like, we are, this year we're only doing ads if you have an automation in place. We're only doing ads if we're like fully educating. We have an educational little series that we're taking you through, and then making sure that the team internally knows what the offers are and how to convert them, because it's crazy. We were just looking at one of our clients who has I can't remember, maybe 40-60% booking rate, like one of the highest that we have. And so I was like, how are you booking all these leads and like no one else is? And he pays them per booked lead. And so that's what they do, is they literally just book all the leads. Whereas like some of our other clients, it's more passive, like, oh, well, I tried to call this person and they didn't respond, or they said that they wanted something else, or they weren't having this issue, or, and so it's interesting how different your internal processes can impact these leads that are coming through on Facebook. And that's really for everyone who's ever said Facebook ads don't work. They do, but it's just a different type of system.
So can I share my experience with you on Facebook ads?
Yeah.
As somebody who's tracked everything all the time, the thing I was struggling with, and this is assuming we knew how to run Facebook ads properly. Okay.
Right.
So I'm not saying I am. If I did, I would have figured the team out, but I didn't. But I understand I understand consumer buying habits. And so I would just put out ads that would say, 79, new air conditioning installation as low as $79 a month or something like that. I'm basically playing to the monthly amount to set the hook to get them to take action. And while the lead volume looked great and the cost per lead looked great, it was they couldn't afford to. or
that's a hard offer because of that.
So I was like, dang it, man! Like, this was looking really good until they're like, hey, like these aren't closing, and I'm like, okay, so that's not the answer. Is every time these guys roll a truck out to the home, it costs money for them to not sell them. Like, that's not good. So technically, you could say, yeah, I got you the lead, but it really wasn't. It really wasn't a good one. Like, and nobody didn't know. So you would change it to 89, to 99. Like, you would just keep changing the numbers to find out, is there something there? And it's just too risky. So I just wonder, you probably have an idea of if it's not, of an offer that works best in, I mean, you're mainly HVAC, plumbing, electrical, right?
Yeah.
Like in those three. Okay. You probably have an idea if they're wanting to put an offer out there of what they should do. I'm hoping that you do. And maybe you don't need to do that. Maybe you were thinking about it all wrong. Or maybe that's just a paid strategy. That's just a straight paid strategy. And so I think maybe let's just talk about that for a second. I'm selfishly asking this question as I'm thinking through this. When somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, Jen, I got, $5,000 a month I want to spend with you on paid social media. What do we do?" Is that how do you give them the budget? Do they come to you with the budget? Is it a mixture of both? And then what do you do? Maybe just walk me through what that looks like.
So as far as budget goes, we start off $50 to $100 a day. You could spend, depending on your market.
Did you say $5,200 a day?
52.
Oh, 50 to 100. Got it.
It's a good place to start.
I was like, damn.
The thing I just want to say too about Facebook ads right now is they're really heavy on creative. And so you have to have video and pictures that match the offer. That's going to make a really big difference. And so we've stopped running ads if we don't have great creative because they're just not performing as well. As far as offer goes, we have some clients that are doing really, really well and continue to do well with tune-up offers. I know that some people don't like to go that direction, but that's a direction that we see a pretty high ROI on consistently across markets and across seasons.
So the win is getting in the home.
Correct.
Right.
And having a new customer.
Yeah. And then it's there. Ultimately, this is when it's you, the listener, the contractor's job to sell it. Right. And to get it sub so that way you can continuously go back in that home with your membership or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And we continue to see an ROI in it. That's it. I understand that it's a loss lead, but you can make money on them.
So are you tracking this for your customers? Will you track the whole funnel?
As much as we can. We have eyeballs on some stuff and not on other. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the way that it is.
But you should, you can get into Service Titan and look at the lead attribution and revenue and stuff like that. Do you have that capability, or is it something that you want to do, or do you guys do it already now?
Usually we get reporting monthly from our clients if we can. That's more so.
Got it.
How we get it.
Got it. I've always just struggled with do you call it branding or do you call it lead gen? And I'll tell you,
I know.
Here's how I've thought, and you can tell me you disagree, and I would completely understand. I legit think social media is a branding play, and we hope we get some lead gen from it. It's kind of like the way I've always positioned it.
We have a client in Florida who Facebook is his biggest lead source. About 40% of his revenue came from Facebook last year. So it's not impossible, but you have to treat it as that type of lead source. He has people who are dedicated to these Facebook ads on a daily basis. So it's just a different, if that's what you're using, it's different than just casually running some ads. Maybe you get some leads off of it. Maybe they convert. There's different ways to do it.
We had a guy on here from Florida. I wonder if it's the same. I wonder if he's one of your customers. And they were great. Can you say who that customer is?
Fast Air.
Oh no, that's not him. Damn. Remember that guy we had on here, guys? That was climate control or something like that? It was where a guy they do all the little fun TikTok dances and stuff like that.
With Derek?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Derek's awesome.
Yeah, he's got his guys dancing, doing all the fun stuff. I was it was pretty funny.
I know. And a lot of what he does, not all of it, but a lot of it are TikTok trends that they just do, and they do them consistently. And they do a little bit of educational videos, but that's what I'm saying. That's fun. He leans into it, and it works for him. Well,
and so this is going to sound probably silly to you, but I don't know the trends, right? So I have no idea what they are. So I had one person tell me one time, I just follow this one Instagram page, this one page, and then they put out all the trends, they show all the trends. And I was like, oh, yeah. So you can just go one place. I have no clue. I'm 6 months behind on trends, and then they're not trends anymore.
Yeah. So We watch them. We have some AI tools that watch them. Our team like weekly puts trend ideas and stuff, and then we send them to our clients.
Well, and then you have to go like kind of fast on it too, right? Because it's only a trend for so long. Like,
sometimes, yeah. Some of them are bigger than other ones and they last a little bit longer. And some of them you really got to, they're really niche and you got to get on them fast. But a lot of them will go for a little while. You have a little window.
Do you remember the first trend was the thing I ever remember the first time we did was the Harlem Shake, or was it the Harlem Shake? Is that what that thing was called? It was like where everybody just was like working at your office, and then next thing you know, well, the music part changes, and then everybody's like dancing to it, and they're all doing funny stuff. Was it the Harlem Shake?
I do remember that. Okay. That doesn't sound right, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Son of a bitch, I think it's a Harlem Shake. Now it's gonna bug me, but that was like to me the first time I ever did anything that was trendy.
That's funny. Probably like in 2021.
It's a Harlem Shake. No, yeah, Harlem. That's it. Harlem Shake. Okay, good. Look at me.
There you go.
Anyway, I saw ours up at Rhino, like I think it was like maybe last week or something like that. Or I saw it pop up as a memory. I was like, oh my God, this is forever ago.
That's fun. See, and it's fun.
It was fun. We had a good time with it.
Yeah.
It's good.
We have a client that's really, really good at doing trends, and some of the feedback that they give us, like, so we'll send trends. So we have different ways of getting content. One of them is we bring in a videographer, but that's on like a bi-yearly type of situation. So it's not all the time. And sometimes trends pop up. So we do have clients that we'll send the trends to and they'll do them. And their feedback is like their team just has so much fun with it. Like they feel like it like boosts the morale because they're playing. Like you get to do a little bit of play and it's marketing also.
So you know, I'm actually bummed Chad's not on here. Peterman's on here. He's my co-host, obviously normally on these podcasts, but this was an impromptu episode.
Yeah.
So I was out in Indianapolis a couple weeks ago, and we were shooting some social media content and some TV commercials. Basically, it was just full on production day.
Yeah,
which is always fun with Chad because I like to get him out of his comfort zone, and he's such a good sport. But one of the things that we deal with our roofing business is our brand looks very similar to the Peterman Brothers brand on purpose. So people always think that Redbird Roofing stole the Peterman Brothers branding, like we're just trying to copy them. So we had fun with it. And we parked the two trucks together, and Chad's in the middle of it, kind of saying, "Yep, that's me. Yep, that's me too." Like we're having fun with it.
Yeah.
People know that like he's a part of it, But we lean heavy into like the funny, the humor stuff because Chad is like pretty straight laced. Mm-hmm. So anytime, and all of his commercials in the Indianapolis market are pretty straight laced. Now they have a little bit of fun with the humor, so I like it whenever he gets to let his personality out because to me it's like, okay, you don't normally see him like this. He's so like straight laced and put together, and then I make him do stupid TikTok trends, or
that's fun.
And so we have fun with it, but it's also fun when we got all of our employees involved in this last round, and everybody had the best time. And it was like it's like good for the culture of your company too. Everybody's kind of everybody's like chipping in on the content, and we just made it like we had a fun day out of it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and not only that, that's how you attract better people to work with you. Like they see the type of place that's like willing to let loose a little bit and have a good time, and they can see that people are interacting together. And a lot of our clients have said over the years that they're able to hire better people because people literally come in and say, "Hey, we want to work here because of your TikTok."
That's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up because that's the way I kind of looked at even with Rhino over the years. It was such a great recruiting tool because we had so much fun. We did so many things, and like we had fun, and we always had somebody filming everything that we did, and or if it was our community service days or whatever it is, we recorded everything. That way, people could kind of say like, "Okay, cool, yeah, like this looks like a really fun company to go work for."
Right. Yeah.
Oh, the good old days.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
Okay, so I'm going to transition just a little bit because I think we're about 30-ish minutes or so into this thing. You have something, I don't know how much you can or can't share on here, and if you want to guide the listeners to like down a certain path, you can. But I saw this on your website, and it was around the 9 ways to get your next sale off social media.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I don't need you to give me all 9 ways to get your next sale off of social media. But
can I be honest? I think that is an old thing that I created. Not to say that it wouldn't work anymore, but I don't even really fully remember.
So then let's look at it this way. So number one, update your website.
Okay. Like, you tell me, what are my 9 ways again?
Well, it didn't share it. You actually had to submit the form. It was like a hook. And I'm sure you're probably going to give them some. So listen, don't go to the website and click on 9 ways.
I know, right? I'm like, I'm ashamed. No, but I'll be honest about my website. It's been in the process of being updated for a year now, which it's just been like a crazy long process. And we are almost at the end of this road and this journey of my website. But we do have a ton of resources for contractors. We have the social media blueprint, which is like 3 different freebies in one. It includes what does it include? 57 different video ideas, the viral TikTok framework. We've got another one that teaches you like what you need to have in your bios, which is what Google is indexing right now, is your social media bios. And that's how it's pulling that content. It also has a shot list that you can give to a videographer, a photographer that come in, and 7 types of content that we're seeing are working really well on social. So I do know what are in those. The 9 things, I remember that, but I can't quite remember what's on it.
That's fine. It really boils down to what are the resources, and are you giving them away for free, regardless if they're working you or not? I mean, I hope
that one is. But yeah, we do. We do have those 2 free resources.
Well, then take advantage of it. If it's free, it's for me. You ever heard that before? If it's
and
free,
social media. It's all social media stuff. I also, if you go to my website, there's like, if you're like thinking about whether or not you want to work with us, there's 2 roads you can go down. And one of them is if you are under $1 million in annual revenue or over $1 million. And that's not because for any reason, but the investment to work with us is a little bit high if you're still trying to reach that $1 million mark. If you do that, you get sent this email that's got like every single resource I've ever created, along with like podcasts that you should check out, like all kinds of stuff. And then some different stuff from us.
By the way, I think it's important to I just want to reiterate on that. You had said earlier, 50 to $100 a day. It was called $3,000 a month. So regardless of size of your business, that's kind of where it's mostly around the investment. So I think that's really what you care most about is, do you actually have what you should invest to max the success potential, right? That's kind of what you're saying. Right.
I mean, social media is important at every level. Like if you're just starting, I tell people like you should be posting on your personal Facebook day every day and your personal Facebook page every day. Hey, this is what I'm doing today. Every single person in that network should know what you do, because you don't want them to call some random company on Google when you could literally go and get that job yourself. So it's important at every level. It's just like, when can you start investing your money so that you can get your time back in doing it?
So let me ask you this question. I'm going to pretend like, okay, Jen, all this sounds great. I know I should be doing social media. I don't know if it's organic, if it's paid, if it's all the above. Jen, what should I be doing? Like, and what does it look like when somebody starts to work with you? Like, I'm trying to think through this. Again, I'm thinking selfishly, since I own a few different businesses. And it's like, okay, man, I know that we're not doing enough on social. And I also know that the company can't afford to have an in-house social media person at this moment. So there's like, this is when you would leverage a partnership like this, a relationship like this to do it for us. So we move forward. What does the next step look like? Like I want the listeners to understand what the journey looks like so they can say, okay, this is how it's going to go. And here's what I'm responsible for.
Yeah. So our journey starts off in the first 30 days with our onboarding and content. So we get to know you and learn more about your market and your brand and your company and why you started it and who you are in it and all of those things. And then we bring in a videographer and photographer for a full day content shoot where we get like all of the morning stuff. And then we get to go out on a job or two so that we have content that we can use over the next 3 to 6 months or so. From there, we start off with organic. So we no longer start anywhere except for organic, and we start building that consistency on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And then we can start to add in some Facebook ads. So at the first level, we do brand awareness. So that's like getting in front of the zip codes that you want to get in front of, retargeting your customer list, retargeting your website visitors, just making sure that your brand is out there more. There's only so much you can do organically, especially on the meta platforms, Facebook and Instagram. They're just like, there's so much content on them. It's hard to reach new people. And so by spending $20 a day on Facebook, you can reach the zip codes that you want to get in front of and get your brand out there. And then we can start looking at Facebook ads from a lead generation standpoint, kind of looking at all of the things that we talked about before, making sure internal systems are in place. At this point, we have content. We know you pretty well. Like we can really do some good stuff there.
Do you actually fly in and do that?
What?
Do you actually fly in and do it?
The content?
Yeah.
No, we partner with a local videographer.
That makes more sense. That's the thing I've struggled with is like because just overall operating expenses gets a little crazy if you're having to fly in and do all these. Yeah.
For sure. And that's not, And so we've created a system where we connect with the local videographer. We set up like the shot list, the run a show, all of those things. And then we get the content from them. So
nobody has said, Jen, can you please come be my talent?
I mean, that's of course another direction, but it's just, no, it doesn't have to be the owner. It doesn't have to be your team, but it's just so much nicer when it is. There's something so much more authentic about it.
I know, I totally agree. I'm just saying if somebody's like, listen, I know, but I'm a total introvert and and nobody on my team wants to do it because they're small and their team might be small. And so I'm just trying to think through like, I look at even our sponsors on this show. We got Chirp, Contractor Commerce, Prolific, Blue On, Avoca, Basic Capital. And I'm thinking, man, when I look at their social media content, it's like Chirp does a great job. I own Prolific and we do a terrible job. That will change. But I also now have more time to spend on it. Okay. Just so it's clear. I think Contractor Commerce tries. I know Tall Paul used to be my old co-host on here. But I don't know, like if I'm blown away by anybody's social media content. Again, I'm as guilty, but even Redbird Roofing, I've had it for a little over a year and a half. Excuse me. And shame on me because I have avoided social media because I'm not there to do it.
Yeah.
And
makes it harder.
And because I'm also not doing this every day, I don't have a plan and I don't know what to reach out and say to a local, videographer or team to give them run a show or to give them a shot list and all those types of things. I know that at Rhino because I have a production team, right? The podcast is, we have our team and so I don't have to do any of that stuff. So it's easy for me. I just got to be the pretty face.
Right. That makes it so much easier when someone tells you what to do.
Exactly. But the point I want to get across is, and why I'm going down this path is I don't want to let the listeners who are too small and like maybe too reserved off the hook of ignoring social, because I do think it's super important to have some social media presence because you have it one way or the other, right? It's whatever you've got out there, or if the lack of things that you've put out there, people are like, oh, it's been a year since they posted anything. Was there a problem with that business? Like you could think that way. So I don't want anybody off the hook. I just want them to be thinking through, hey, yes, I get you might not want to be on the camera. So yes, there's an option. I get you might not have people. Yes, there's an option. I don't know what to do. Well, there's somebody who can help you. There's an option. So do something. And do you have to do people work with you? Is there a set term that you want to work at, like a 3, a 6, a 12? Do you have a term that you like to commit to? Because I can imagine you only take on so many people at the same time.
We like a 90-day commitment to start off with. And then after that, it's 30 days at a time.
It's monthly after that?
Yeah.
See, that's easy.
But I got to say something because even though most people are not comfortable right off the bat being on camera. That's not most people are pretty uncomfortable with that. But it's like, what are you willing to do in order to ensure the growth of your business? And sometimes you have to do things that you're uncomfortable with. And so I'm not saying maybe I'm a little bit more outgoing than some people, but I know the power of visibility and of putting content out there. And so if this growth is important to you, there is just something about maybe doing it anyway, even if it's even if it feels cringy, even if you're uncomfortable, even if you don't know what to do, especially if you're just starting out, like it's your responsibility to build this business and get opportunity out there. And social media is a free place for us to get opportunity.
Well, last I checked, if you're running a business, there's oftentimes when it has to be when you have to make uncomfortable decisions and do uncomfortable things.
Right.
So this is just another one of those things. It's interesting because, my wife, Anna, she took her a while to get warmed up, to be in front of the cameras. And it's like I could be having a conversation with you right here, but as soon as you put a camera in front of someone's face, they change.
Yeah.
It changes. And there's no way that I know other than just doing it, just doing it over and over again. And then you get comfortable. I can remember even for myself, who is very outgoing and I've never been afraid to speak in public. I've never been afraid to be on stages and things like that. But it took me a little bit to adjust to shooting content or even hearing my voice.
Yeah. Or rewatching it or being okay with it being out there.
Totally. And not
everybody's uncomfortable.
Yeah, and not
at some point
constantly, judging yourself. I'm like, God, what the hell did I say? That wasn't even true.
Right.
I'm like, wait, why did I say that? That was so stupid. I could have said it a totally different way. But that's where people get hung up is I think that, they say it's progress over perfection, right? Like you're not going to nail it. Just go out there and kind of be you, and do the things. I think the thing that you said, that's probably the easiest thing for those people to do is if you're going out on a job doing a normal service call that day, we'll just record something on the normal service call. Actually, I would argue that it's better when it's not staged, right? It's not professional. It's just you kind of doing your thing and people watching.
Yeah, I think we didn't talk about AI at all, and that's totally fine. But I will say
my
that
next bullet point.
That's your next bullet point.
Yep.
But the thing about, I'm going to jump your bullet point then. But the thing about it is that, you have the opportunity to be authentically connect with people online, which AI can't do. And so I was just talking to somebody about this, and I think there's only two directions on social that really work. And one of them is completely unedited, just raw, throw it out there content. And the other one is very, very, very polished and a series ongoing. And anything in between just doesn't work very well.
So that's where I was going to actually try and end with is I literally wrote AI or humans or both.
Yeah.
Because I thought when I was asking some of these questions that you would jump into that as a solution for production.
Right.
And which is totally fine because I'm legit curious to know that, some of it you can, I think if you're having fun with it, maybe there's some options there.
There's AI trends and you can jump on AI trends and they're cute and they're fun and people like that. That's super cool. But and AI is great. There's Opus Clips.ai, which is a really easy editing tool. Easily take out the stuff you didn't mean to say, edit your videos. CapCut has AI capabilities. Canva has AI capabilities. Of course, we have ChatGPT that can help us write really terrible captions for social media. But there, AI can't do your social media yet. This is what I've been telling people recently. You were at Home Service Freedom. Did you watch Kevin O'Leary when he was showing that AI Kevin?
And I could tell which one was AI Kevin.
Oh, I failed. But the thing is that it was good. But we do not have that yet. That's not what you can just go. Sora doesn't do that. Google VO3 doesn't do that. We don't have access to that at this level yet. So because of that, we still need to be creating our own content. There could be a day in the future, and I'm sure there will be, where we could use AI to do it, but that's going to be novel. It's going to go fast and people are going to really want realness again, because we don't get on, nobody wants crap on social media. When you see a bunch of crap on social media, you get off of it. You want stuff that you actually like, that's interesting, that's behind the scenes. We're voyeurs into people's life. And so if it's not that, and it's just some made up stuff, that's not why people are on social.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with that. I think the authenticity always is going to win the day. If you're willing to do it. And, I don't think social is, the human behavior is the human behavior. There's shifts to it, but I do think that when something is fake for so long, people miss the authenticity of it.
Yeah.
And at least maybe, I know that I do. It can be entertaining. It can be entertaining to see that, but it's when I really want something, like I want to see some authenticity, and to me that, it matters to me. I mean, I guess I try to think, I've always constantly tried to think about, because what I've been responsible for so many years, almost 2 decades, was lead generation for contractors. So how I got to do that? I got to get somebody who wants a contractor and set the hook for them and like make sure their brand's in their face constantly. So like all the things was tracking human behavior and how can I create ads that answer the questions I know that the humans are thinking to get them to choose the contractor, and then how do I chase it all the way through? And so that's been my life forever. Is that? But I'll say this: Of the customers that we had over all those years, and those who actually leaned into social media for more than 90 days, and continued to put themselves out there, always had really great success with social media. Now maybe it took a little bit longer because of the buy cycle of the sale. Like people aren't buying roofs every maybe twice in your life, maybe once, or maybe twice, once probably, but you just got to stay consistent with it, right? And follow a plan and do it. That's probably half the battle that people phase out, of doing it.
Yeah. There's, we have clients that don't run lead generation and they get leads from social all the time. And their customers say like, oh, we saw you on TikTok or we saw you on YouTube or whatever. And so it's that, but we've been working with them for like 2.5, 3 years. And so it's just that really long consistency. And I tell people organic social is like a snowball. Like it doesn't do anything right at the beginning. Like it doesn't make that big of a difference. You might hear from your family and your warm network, like, oh, I've started seeing you post all over the place. But it's that over time that people start to remember you that don't know you at all. And that's when it really, really starts to make a huge impact.
It's just another avenue, where you can get someone's attention, that you can completely control the content, like it, and it's not. I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's like, I'd be curious to see what other social platforms start to emerge over these next few years.
Someone asked me the other day, like, what's the future of social right now? And besides, like, curious to see what happens with AI and how social. I mean, Meta's already implementing like different AI tools. Although, like for running ads, they're still just as terrible as all of the other stuff that they've put out there. But I think that it's more about, like I said it. So Gary Vee talks a lot about social selling from like an e-com perspective. And one thing, and I'm going to keep saying this and someone's going to do it and it's going to work out for them. But I think like live jobs, like full day look at what you're doing. So instead of live streaming e-com, you're like just live streaming the jobs that you're going to. And I think that people would watch it. Like I used to watch this like restaurant cooking eggs and bacon. I think the liability is a little bit uncomfortable and that's what people would shy away from. But I do think that people enjoy that and find that really interesting. And you could probably end up just making money off the live stream even more than getting customers from it.
That's interesting. So almost if you think of like the Meta glasses, like somebody's just wearing them.
Right.
And
you're just watching their whole day.
So Prolific did a 8-hour.
Oh yeah, I was a part of it.
Did you? I will
like anything that I'm a big fan of Zach's. Anything that Zach does, I will like jump on.
He's such a great guy. I was like, you're gonna do 8 straight hours. I was like, dear Lord, like that sounds awful. Actually, it was like they did a good job. Like it actually did pretty well. Like I mean, ultimately did pretty good. So I wouldn't want to do that, but. Whatever. I know
it's hard, but I mean, Meta Glasses makes it easier. It's going to be easier and easier for us to do that sort of thing. And I think that could be something that's going to be interesting.
Well, then I guess we'll wait to see who the first one is to do it.
I know, right?
Okay, well, listen, I already went way over that time I thought I was going to go, but hey, we're having a good conversation, so might as well just let it rip. But I'm excited for you, like I said, for your event, and I know it's hard to put on, but I promise you it's so much worth it, and I know that you're trying to do do more good for the industry that I love, and that you love. And I'll be curious to hear when it's all said and done, where your head's at with it. But,
take a deep breath.
But I'm grateful that you let Zach be a part of it. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And, I am too. I'm so excited.
And I appreciate you giving me an hour of your time on a Monday.
It's been great.
On a Monday when we're recording this one. Actually,
it's been great.
Those of you that are listening, it's Thursday. We record this on Monday. So quick turnaround. Nice job to my team. Nice job to my team.
I appreciate it. Good job, team. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, Jen, I appreciate you coming on here and sharing everything. And I'm assuming that people go into the growth experience, that they'll learn more about these things and possibly even more in depth to some of this stuff and actual more tactical things too. So get a ticket and go. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Before summer.
Profits, people, and presence.
Profits, people, and presence. All good things. The 3 Ps.
Yeah. No kidding.
All right. Well, listen, I'm surprised it took us this long to do this, but I'm glad we did it.
Thank you. Me too. I'm grateful.
And I'm genuinely happy to watch you grow the business and you start to continue to have some more success and things like that. So I keep kicking ass, Jen.
I appreciate it.
All right. And to our listeners, now you got no reason to not do social. There's always an opportunity. There's always something that you can do no matter what size of business that you're at, right? So the only reason you're not doing it is because it's you. It's a will problem right now. It's an effort. You know what? Effort costs $0. Okay, effort costs $0. So take advantage of it. So Jen, good luck at your conference, and to all of our listeners, you don't got to do everything, but you got to do something. No 0 days.